So one of the key things is we're bringing what I consider the most realistic shooter to console. There is not a more realistic shooter on the marketplace on the console, so that's one of the key things that we felt there was a niche in the console market. But also on the PC market there are other realistic shooters out there. But we wanted to bring a sandbox tactical shooter to the market, and we wanted to bring a level of authenticity that hasn't been seen before. So, based on such a big island, giving the player a whole load of toys to play with, but also keeping the realism and the authenticity was challenging, but it's something that I think we're doing that no other shooter's done. One of the cool things with the AI we decided to do was we wanted it to be a dynamic AI, and this was done by creating, like American football, they use playbooks. We thought, well, we can do something similar to that. So we have lots of different playbooks and options for the AI to choose from, depending on what you're doing and what they're doing and what the general overall battle is going on, because we don't just have very basic scripts controlling them. We have all sorts of things like they have a threat level, they have a morale level, and various things can affect these, such as they have different perceived threats. So the infantry see a enemy tank coming over the hill, obviously they're going to go, oh, that's a bigger threat, and that's going to have a knock-on effect to their morale. If your fire team leader is shot and killed, that's going to affect your morale. So that can affect things like what they decide to do. They may panic, they may flee. They might do a more controlled fleeing manoeuvre, which is what they do is they'll pop a smoke grenade and then do a tactical retreat where they're pointing that way towards the enemy but running backwards. And these are all sorts of tactical things that we took from the United States training manual, because we've had unprecedented access to all sorts of things like the Marines and asking them on their advice and that kind of thing. Because again, like I said before, it's one of the things that we wanted in the authenticity, and we're really proud of what we've got. Yeah, so we have a very cool quick command radio, but which people have seen in various other sorts of shooters. However, we have different levels of commands in it, so it's a 3-tier system. We wanted to keep it fairly, not simple, but easy to access. It's all based off of muscle memory. So because it's only got 3 tiers, it means you only have to remember up, down, up, or something like that. We wanted that. However, we want it to be a very powerful, useful tool. So it's context sensitive. So if I look at a building, my orders change. Or if I look at an enemy tank or a friendly tank, the options available to me change depending on what I'm looking at. If I'm in a vehicle, my options change. If I'm in a helicopter, my options change. So by making it contextual to what I'm looking at or what I'm in, this made it a very, very powerful UI or HUD element for the player to use, but also kept it easy to use and made it far more diverse than some of the other games out there that have very complex, or how many buttons do I have to hit, I need to remember certain combinations. So we're really pleased with that. So the missions are based around areas. That doesn't stop the player from venturing further. Obviously going into enemy controlled area on your own or with a small fire team is quite dangerous, because most of the missions you have some sort of backup as well of other AI that you're not in control of, but they're friendly. Obviously if they get wiped out, that's not a failed mission, but that makes the mission harder. So yeah, there is a narrative to the story. we didn't want to make the narrative too Hollywood-esque, because that's not really what happens in real life. Also, that would limit us and make it more of a linear shooter, like a lot of the other games that are tunnel shooters and things like that. This game is a sandbox, as you say, so you have the ability to attack and attack different primary and secondary objectives from 360 degrees and from the air and things like that. You know, it's up to the player. We give the player advice and guidance. We even on some of the easier difficulty modes, we give them a hint of where you should go for, you know, hard cover and that kind of thing, because we appreciate not everyone has 3 years military training. But at the same time, we don't say you must do it like that. That's the only way you can do it. We don't have any sort of constant spawning enemies. If you see an enemy in the world, he's an entity that exists. If he runs off, he still exists and you can chase him down. You kill him, he's a goner. There's not going to be like a magical spawner bringing them back. One of the things we wanted to do was for replay value. The game, as I say, you can approach missions from all sorts of different angles, all sorts of different tactics. You know, we give the player tools to do different jobs, but they can choose how they use that tool. They might come up against 2 tanks, but you may only have 1 anti-tank javelin missile, and then you may have some anti-tank mines, and then you may want to lure that tank into an ambush or anything like that. Various other different examples I could give. So there's that replay value, but there's also the fact that we give you secondary objectives that you don't have to do to complete the mission, but we may give you or lead you down a path that may reveal an ammo stash that might come to it, or a vehicle. There's also bonus objectives which tie in very nicely to the achievements and the trophies on the console. These are things that we felt that some of them might be more military type things to do, or some of them might be fun little things to do. I don't want to give away what they are, and they're not even told to the player. The player isn't given hints or anything about it. They just need to go out and experiment, and that gives a lot of replay value as well. And like I said before, the game is you can play through the entire single-player campaign cooperatively. You know, you can get those. You can do all sorts of different things in that respect as well. It's something that we've toyed with, we've played with, we've looked at, and we know there is a market out there that really wants it. Your words are sadistic. I wouldn't say it's necessarily sadistic. I think it's just for the hardcore player. It's called hardcore for a reason. We don't do anything like bad companies like Blown Out Walls. We do have multi-stage destruction though, so it's not a case of the building is there or it's not. The buildings are broken up into sections, so bigger buildings you can hit, you can clip the corner of it and take out the corner, but the rest of it stays intact, and that is a tactical element to the game. You know, you rely on the building as cover, so if you come across a blown up building, it's not like as if it's not there. There is some rubble that you can still hide behind, but obviously a more intact building gives you more cover than a rather semi-destroyed building. There's 2 game modes. There's Annihilation, which is we sort of hand-picked key locations on the island that were good choke points. Don't want to give too much away, but you know, so you get into some pretty intense firefights. And then there's another game mode which is very cool. We're very proud of, called Infiltration. This is a deliberately unbalanced game mode. So it's 10 United States Marine Corps Spec Ops guys who have good, you know, night vision, some thermal scopes, the tools of the trade, but there's only 10 of them against 22 PLA troops who don't have quite as good weapons, who are defending something. And this was done deliberately because we felt this was kind of something that you don't see in many games, and we wanted to do something a bit more tactical and Flashpoint. You know, it's very much the Flashpoint flavour. We're also looking at, as I say, we're not just leaving the game and that's it. We are planning DLC. We are currently considering additional game modes, but I'm not going to say any more than that. But we've got some very cool other ideas in the works at the moment. No, it's 8 players over Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. However, it's not just 4 on each side and that's it, because that would be not very fun at all, obviously. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money developing the advanced AI that you use in the single player. So we're using that AI in the multiplayer as well. So it means that, say, the 4 of us were playing. Each one of us could be a fire team leader with several guys below, and there'd be other fire teams. And so you get massive fights still, despite not having quite as many players as PC game market. But on PC, yeah, you do have 32 players.